Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about something quite monumental, really. Something big that's happened in the game industry that has basically been completed as of the time of this recording. And that is, of course, the news that Microsoft has completed its acquisition and purchase of Zenimax, and therefore Bethesda Studios, the makers of Skyrim, Fallout, and the soon-to-be-released, hopefully, Starfield. It's pretty big news, so we're going to get into that in just a moment, but I would just like to quickly say I am trying to grow the channel and I'm starting to see more views and more comments and likes and stuff. It's really cool. So if you want to help me grow the channel, the best thing that you can do, like always, is the simplest stuff. Just leave likes, comment on stuff, and if you think I've earned it, then, subscribe to the channel. There's also some links in the description to things like my Instagram page, so if you want to follow me there, I post semi-regularly, so yeah. But with that out of the way, let's get on to the actual topic of Microsoft completing its acquisition of Zenimax. So then, a tiny recap for people that maybe have not heard about this. I believe back in September of 2020 last year, it was announced that Microsoft would pay a hell of a lot of money to acquire Zenimax, and therefore Bethesda and a few other things were obviously in there as well. They paid a massive amount of money. It was around $7.5 billion, which is, I believe, something like 5.8 billion pounds if you're in England, which is, needless to say, a rather large chunk of change. I remember some people thinking that it was some sort of joke or some sort of hoax or something like that, and no, it's gone ahead. But what happened was they needed to have some regulatory bodies look at it to make sure that it didn't break any laws regarding monopolies and things like that. There was actually one in the UK to do with two large supermarkets wanting to merge, and I believe that was actually blocked. So some people believe that this may actually be blocked as well. It turned out it wasn't, and today, or perhaps yesterday at this point, I'm not exactly sure when the news broke. As I'm in England, the time zones are a bit different. The acquisition has gone ahead, everything is okay, and I believe as of right now, Microsoft officially owns Zenimax, and as I said before, therefore Bethesda and all the other stuff that Zenimax owns, or used to own, I should say. So needless to say, this has had a lot of people talking, and rumors have been flying about all sorts of different things because of the fact that if Microsoft owns Bethesda, that means they own Skyrim and Fallout and all the other IP, including the upcoming Starfield. So a lot of people are thinking, well, this means exclusivity. But then there's a lot of other people that say, no, Microsoft know too well that if they were to only release it on Microsoft platforms and PC, that they would lose a ton of money and a ton of goodwill from the PlayStation players rather. And for me personally, where I fall on that is, I think to not release on PlayStation platforms would be a bad move, not only money-wise, but also PR-wise. I think that a lot of people would be severely pissed off. I know I would be if the next Elder Scrolls, the next Fallout, the next, Starfield, the Starfield won't come to our platforms. Now, I do own a Series S, actually. I got one the week before I got my PlayStation 5, but I haven't touched it. I haven't really played it much, and frankly, the PS5 just is more attractive to me. So I'm not really sure if I would want to migrate over to play all of these Bethesda titles on an Xbox. And actually, on that note, it would be interesting to know what any of you out there have to say about that. I would really like to see which camp people, actually fall into, because I could imagine a lot of people getting very annoyed by this. In fact, while I think of it, there is actually another two large and pretty important IPs that come along with this deal, and that would be Doom and Dishonored. There's another two large franchises that Microsoft now owns and has potential exclusivity over. There are two games though that will remain Sony exclusives, which I believe is Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. Apparently Microsoft have said that those two will still be coming out and will still be exclusive to the PlayStation platform. I don't know if perhaps maybe later down the line they'll bring them to Game Pass or something, but as it stands right now, nope, they're still coming to PlayStation and they're still currently exclusive. Although, having said that, Microsoft have also confirmed that there will be some new games I should say, coming down the line that will be exclusive to Xbox and PC platforms. So yeah, it's going to be difficult, I think, for some people, especially because, you know, a lot of people don't have the cash or even the want to buy two major consoles, the PS5 and the Xbox Series S or X, you know. So if someone's already invested heavily into the PlayStation, I can't see this making them buy an Xbox, although Game Pass is a very good deal for a lot of people, and I believe that the entire back catalogue of the stuff they've just bought, essentially all their new little toys, are going to appear on Game Pass really soon. So that'll be, you know, the Skyrim Special Edition and probably Doom and Doom Eternal, as well as the Dishonored games and everything else that come along with it. The head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, did actually write a post today about this, and I'll read you a tiny bit of it now. Today, we officially complete the acquisition of Zenimax Media, parent company of Bethesda Softworks. It's an honor to welcome the 8 incredibly talented development studios: Bethesda Game Studios, id Software, Zenimax Online, Arcane, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Studios, and their passionate global communities to the Xbox family. And he goes on to say, this is the next step in building an industry-leading first-party studios team, a commitment we have to our Xbox community. With the addition of Bethesda creative teams, gamers should know that Xbox consoles, PC, and Game Pass will be the best place to experience new Bethesda games, including some new titles in the future that will be exclusive to Xbox and PC. And apparently their first lineup is going to be Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6, and a new Indiana Jones game from the makers of Wolfenstein. I believe that was Machine Games. So there you have it. He really is pushing the "this is the best place for Bethesda games" thing. And I don't really know how to feel about it. It's difficult because I have really loved Bethesda games for a long time. I even liked Elder Scrolls Online, if I'm honest, but obviously they've had some proper downers with Fallout 76 and also the Elder Scrolls Blades on mobile. That was just terrible. It's difficult because I think they're basically going to operate as normal, which I believe they've said as much. So it will most likely be business as usual. However, it's always going to be first on Xbox and PC and Game Pass. So it's going to be interesting to say the least, because I could see one of two things happening. They're either going to turn off a ton of people who don't want to play it anymore, who don't want to move over to Xbox, or who can't for monetary reasons, or it's going to drive more people to their console and they're going to enjoy the benefits of that $7.5 billion acquisition. Either way, I think Microsoft is playing a massive long game here. They're not in it for the short game. They are thinking probably 30, well, maybe not 30, 20 years in the future, perhaps they're thinking, whereas I believe Sony is thinking about 5 years in the future. So Microsoft are trying to set themselves up to be the place to play games in the future. And that does actually bring me on to another topic, which I will save for another video, but the digital games versus physical games. I'm really against going all digital, and we know that Xbox has tried this before. If you remember with the Xbox One, they wanted to do this. They wanted to go all digital, and you know what, with their xCloud and having the Game Pass go across, you know, well, the xCloud and their consoles and PC, you can see what they're setting up. But as I said, I won't get into it now. I just really hate the idea of all digital. It really bothers me, especially as a collector. But what do you think? What do you think about the acquisition? Are you happy about it? Are you a PlayStation player that doesn't own an Xbox? Do you own both so you don't care? Do you own a gaming PC? Any and all points of view are, of course, welcome in my comments section. If you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like on it. And if you think I deserved it, a subscription would be brilliant. You can also check out the video description down below for all my important links, including my Instagram. And there's nothing left to say except thank you very much for watching, and I will speak to you next time.